What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, we are recording this episode just after our response to the live stream of the Colts presser where they were introducing new interim head coach Jeff Saturday. A lot of emotion around this hire, Cody, because there's a lot of things that go into it. Obviously, this is just a interim head coach position right now, so he's supposed to finish out the year, and then there will be an interview process as things are going along. People are asking, about the Rooney Rule and things of that nature. People are always going to bring that up anytime a head coaching job comes out and is up for grabs. The Colts said they're going to follow along with that. And at the end of the year, when they're doing a process, they're going to have it ready to do that. So no issues there when it comes to that. But at the end of the day, I mean, Cody, there are some things that come up that people are still wondering about Jeff Saturday. We really didn't get a lot from the presser itself. And ultimately, I mean, I guess we should both state our opinion on Jeff Saturday. I know you kind of mentioned it already, but I never really got a chance to talk about it. What's your opinion on Jeff Saturday, first of all, becoming the new head coach for this team for the remainder of the year?
I mean, at this point, I guess it's kind of like, what do you have to lose, with this team? It's either, he gets this team back on track. He wins the locker room, which is obviously going to take time. He was asked about that in his presser, and he's like, yeah, it's going to take time to win this locker room. And I don't know if that can be done. I don't know if this season is salvageable enough, Derek. I think the locker room might be too far gone at this point. But, it's kind of like he just has had no experience at all. So, in my opinion, I don't have any expectations for him. And if he turns out to be a bad coach, at the end of the day, you're looking for your future at quarterback, and that only helps you. So I was just shocked at first because I thought they would go internal. But this whole day on Monday has just been absolutely insane for this team. So, yeah, man, I'm just kind of baffled still that that happened. But it is what it is. I mean, at the very most, I guess, or at the very least, I know that Jeff Saturday will hold guys accountable. He did that as a player, and I think he'll do that again as a coach. He's not going to be a coach that's passive. I'm just going to say that. Regardless of how this team actually performs and what their record is under him, he's not going to be a passive guy. He's going to get in guys' faces. I really believe that, which should be a breath of fresh air for some Colts fans who are very adamant that Frank Reich was just so passive and everything, looked checked out for this team. But Jeff Saturday is a guy that I think is going to come in and going to bring some good juice, going to bring some good energy. And at the very least, he's going to do his part to hopefully, the goal would be that, this team starts to find some sort of spark. I don't know if the playoffs are out of reach at this point, but it's worth a try, I guess, is kind of my thing. As I've come around, as I've thought about it, I was initially shocked and confused, why a guy that's never coached beyond the high school level, why exactly that happened. But, why not, man? Why not? Give it a shot. See what you got. Maybe Jeff Saturday is a diamond in the rough. Not banking on it. It's kind of like, I know it's not apples to apples comparison, but I kind of look at it like with Sam Ehlinger. It's like, just take the risk on the unproven guy. Can't get much worse than it's been this year.
Yeah.
So why not give it an opportunity? And maybe you find a guy that actually wow, he's a lot better than what we maybe initially thought, and he exceeds expectations. And then maybe at the end of the year, when you're evaluating your head coach and the next process, maybe then you're like, look what he did. Look at his track record. We feel confident moving forward with him. And if not, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, when it came to Saturday, again, I've said this on Twitter, and I never really got a chance to really say anything before the presser since all of this happened literally when I was gone. And then Cody's over here busting out 3 or 4 videos talking about all this news, and I never got a chance to say anything.
Right.
It color me shocked that this is happening right now. Again, Jeff Saturday is one of the first players that I ever fell in love with as an NFL player. Literally one of the first. So the fact that he's going to be the head coach of this team for the year is actually going to be pretty funny to think about. But like you said, Jeff Saturday is basically a guy that's really a no BS kind of guy. He's not there to waste his time. He wants to be there and he wants to do everything in his power to motivate these guys to want to play hard. And, at the end of the day, he's fighting for a long-term coaching job. That's what this is, an audition for it at this point, right? They never said there's no permanent thing to this. You're at the situation where you're just trying to show you got something in you that can get you this head coaching job going further down the road if they employ a good OC to back you up. That's the ultimate goal here. I thought it was very interesting here, Cody, because when I heard of this hire, I thought to myself immediately, this had to have been in the works behind the scenes for like weeks. Come to find out, Ballard said, they tried to get him in the building in 2019. That didn't work out. Irsay 10 years ago tried to get Jeff Saturday in the building. It didn't work out. So, for 10 years, this guy's name has been flung around this Colts organization, but has just never actually gotten there to now. And then when you actually looked at the presser, Irsay specifically stated that when he decided to fire Frank Reich or to take action on it was literally Sunday night. Literally Sunday night after he just said, all right, I'm going to go call Saturday here and see if, he's willing to take this job. And that was what even Kevin Bowen said, if Saturday had said no, Frank Reich would still be here. Very interesting comments there, Cody, because again, it reminds you again that Irsay made this decision on his own. He did not consult Chris Ballard on this. Obviously, he talked with Ballard, but when they got back to Indianapolis, but this was clearly an Irsay-driven decision here once again to do this. This is starting to become the Jim Irsay show here, Cody, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure if I'm really liking it.
No, I hate it. I absolutely hate it because it's just like Jim Irsay's making these rash decisions, right? We all felt like Frank Reich needed to be fired, right? We all did. We felt like he wasn't doing a good job.
Yeah.
But just the fact that like you admitted you basically just did this out of emotion, you reacted out of emotion, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous and a completely irrational decision here to fire Frank Reich, based off of just because you like another guy that has no prior coaching experience at all. I don't like this move. I don't like when Irsay gets involved like this. We haven't seen him do this. It's the first time he's ever done this. In the 25 years he's been the owner, first time we've ever really seen him do this, fire a coach mid-season. This is very un-Irsay-like. So becoming very Jerry Jones in that way. I get that vibe, the last couple weeks here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that, Derek. I don't like an owner that's meddling this much.
Yeah, because there's a reason why football owners, hire GMs for these sorts of things, right? And that's kind of what we're in the situation for. We talked about, Irsay's been saying all this time that, Ballard's going to be back in 2023. You can count on it. It's just not like that's a decision that I can't even wrap my head around right now to even question that, right? So, but yet at the same time, you're taking the initiative of firing a head coach when that's your GM's job to do, right? Like when the GM thinks you're not doing a good enough job. So again, we've been talking about it here, Cody, for literally the last few weeks, saying there must be a disconnect between Irsay and what everyone else is doing, right? Because Irsay's just fed up with the crap that this organization has been going through the last 12 months, right? Like it's literally been a downward spiral for the last 12 months on the football side of things. And of course, Chris Ballard looked absolutely thrilled to be up there, right? Like just sitting to Irsay's right, listening to him talk through 40 minutes of just absolute BS. And hasn't had to talk to the media for literally like literally 12 weeks or something. It's been a long time since we heard from Ballard. And then all of this going on, we never heard from Ballard saying that, things need to change, things need to do this, we need to do this. Like, taking accountability for himself and why this team is failing. It feels so weird, Cody, because, the fact that this coaching hire was just done completely out of spite, I just don't understand why there is now all of a sudden a giant disconnect with what Irsay and Ballard have done. I truly don't believe that Irsay 100% trusts what Ballard's doing right now, because this was an initiative to get Jeff Saturday in the building when Ballard could have easily just promoted someone within the building confines, and then you could have went and done something different, could have went and done the same route with interviewing people at the end of the year. Now you got all this negative publicity from everyone else in the world saying that Jeff Saturday did not deserve this position, even if Irsay and maybe Ballard disagree on that.
Yeah, and it's just weird. Like, it's just a really weird situation because Irsay goes and rambles about how this team is like the fourth winningest franchise and all this just BS, and just basically living in the past. And it's like, well, Jim, if you look recently, this team has not been a winning team. It really hasn't. Like, when you look in this tenure, this team has won 0 division titles. This team, we've talked about it before. I don't even need to go into it. We know. We've watched this team over the last couple of years. It has not been good enough. And so for him to go and say Ballard is a winning GM, like, that's total BS, and you know it, Jim. He has a losing record as a GM right now. He's had a different quarterback every single year. I get it that he's a phenomenal talent evaluator. I get that. But at the end of the day, it takes more than talent evaluation to be a good GM in this league, right? And so, yeah, I think there is some disconnect there for sure. Ballard, I could definitely see it where Ballard was more pro keeping Reich around for the rest of the season, while Irsay basically made the executive decision, it appears, to move on from him and go hire Jeff Saturday. And Ballard can't like that. Ballard's probably really angry right now because he's just like, Jim, you said you trusted me, but here you are going around me and making decisions.
In retrospect, though, Ballard's not been a guy that has necessarily been on the forefront of good coaching decisions.
Sure.
Remember, he did try to sign Josh McDaniels before Frank Reich, right? Right. And we've seen where Josh McDaniels is taking the Raiders now, right? So, it's clear that, the judgment of Chris Ballard and coaches so far has not been a good one either.
Right. Yep. There's fault everywhere, man. It starts with the owner. The GM is to blame. And I kind of feel bad for Jeff Saturday to kind of walk into this crap show right now that is the Indianapolis Colts organization.
And knowing that, he's probably not going to have the job after it's done, right?
Right, exactly. So
it's kind of weird to say the least.
It's a very strange situation. You know what I mean? So as much as I would be okay with Ballard coming back for maybe one more year, and if you draft a rookie quarterback, we'll see. And maybe if you get a guy that you feel like can develop that talent more than Frank Reich and his staff could do, okay, then maybe we have a conversation, because that's always been Ballard's issue, right? The biggest one is he's just been kicking the can down the road at the quarterback position. And I find it very hard to believe that Jim Irsay will let that happen again. It's almost I feel like it's almost under 10% that's going to happen again. I think it's almost a lock that the Colts are going to find their future guy at quarterback. Because Jim Irsay's used to the Peyton Mannings, the Andrew Lucks. He's had 2 franchise Hall of Fame talent quarterbacks in his building. He knows what it looks like. He understands that it takes the quarterback to win it. And now that he's taken more of this upfront approach, I do wonder if that kind of changes the way the Colts go about things. And we see Irsay do what he's been doing, take a more hands-on approach, and push back on Ballard in a lot more ways than maybe he did, prior to this.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle this situation going forward. It's got to be a weird thing for Jeff Saturday. Like he said, he's excited for the opportunity, and I'm excited to see what he could potentially do. Because I mean, this is a golden situation if you're Ballard, because then if nothing changes, then great, you go and try and find a new guy, right? But if Saturday does phenomenal and you guys win like 5 of your last 9 or something, and you start actually showing like some good things, then and the O-line all of a sudden only gives up 1 sack a game rather than 5, then maybe something actually changes, right? I don't know, but I think it's clear to say that the only reason that Irsay is keeping Ballard around at this point is to use him for one more year to try to see if they can get the franchise quarterback that this team desperately needs to build its future around. And then if things start turning around, then Ballard might still have his job.
Right, exactly.
But we'll see how that goes going forward. Let us know your thoughts, guys, on this whole thing with Jeff Saturday now being the new head coach for the Colts for the rest of the year, and what he could potentially bring, and what you guys think that this hire means for the organization and what's going on in between it. Glad to hear you guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will keep more content coming. And as always, guys, go Colts. What's going on, everybody? Today, I want to talk to you about our sponsor, BetStamp. Now, I know what you're thinking. Derek, another betting app? What is so different about this one now? Well, I got to tell you guys, I'm not into online gambling a whole lot and bets online and everything, but I got to tell you, BetStamp is one of the coolest things I have ever seen in regards to betting online. The great thing about BetStamp is it allows you to see all the different odds from all different sports books and see which one provides you the best odds possible for any game or scenario you want to bet on for your pick versus some of the worst. BetStamp allows you to also buy and sell picks that you have without worrying about losing your money or having any issues with it. Believe me, it's all free. I mean, look at this, guys. You have an option for every game across all different kinds of leagues in a ton of different ways. You have baseball, you have college football, UFC, NBA, and NFL. Great for the NFL season now being here. And if I wanted to bet on this Tennessee Titans versus Buffalo Bills game, it shows me in real time what are the best odds, which sports book I'm going to get the best offer from versus some of the worst ones. Because why would you want to earn less money from PointsBet when you could be winning more from ProLine Plus? Again, a great thing that BetStamp offers you, allowing you to make more money for the same pick just with a different sports book. How easy is that? And the great thing is there's not just games. There's player props, there's game props, there's lines, there's live tracking. There's a ton of great ways to make bets and picks on BetStamp, guys. Totally a cool thing to use. I highly encourage you check it out if you're into any kind of online betting. Even if you're not, give it a check. See what you like about it, because I think I actually enjoy using it. But the best way to get an edge on online sports betting is having multiple accounts at different sports books. Be sure to hit the BetLink page, betstamp.app/onboarding. Be sure to check out the BetStamp app or online, and be sure to use the referral code JUICE, plug in your state, and you'll get access to all their affiliates and their prices once you open it up, seeing all states' lines. Be sure to check this out, guys. You won't want to miss it for the best odds on your next sports bet.